Do you remember the first time? The first time you came across Assassin's Creed? I just finished primary school here in the UK and was gifted the Xbox 360 for the very first time. I had a few games for the system, Lego Harry Potter Years 1 to 4, which I used to play on my laptop but for some reason couldn't progress past the last mission of Prisoner of Azkaban due to a glitch, and Halo Combat Evolved, which was backwards compatible and a game I quite adored. I remember being in a games retailer called Game, funny enough, and picking up this game called Assassin's Creed. I read the back of the game's box art, was intrigued, and the rest, as they say, is history. Experienced the power of the assassin. Jerusalem, 1191 AD during the brutal times of the Third Crusade. The streets are bustling with activity, but in a few seconds everything will change, all because of you, Altair, a feared assassin. From the moment I loaded up the game, I was hooked into this franchise, and its grip hasn't loosened all these years later. I became a super fan, a die-hard, ride-or-die type fan. I remember being stuck at the tutorial for the game because for some reason I couldn't wrap my head around holding B to push the women holding the jars over their heads. I kept tapping B and failing. I was a bit of an idiot, and some might say still am. I remember that during this time Assassin's Creed Revelations was being advertised, and my friend at the time was telling me how sick it was with the music and Ezio being a badass, and how it had Altair in it too. I hadn't watched it, but he was passionate about it. We were both passionate about Assassin's Creed. He'd come around my house and shown me how to do the combo kill when I first arrived at Damascus. I played the game constantly. I was immersed into this world. I loved the gameplay, being stealthy, climbing everything, jumping from beams like it was Prince of Persia, another franchise from Ubisoft that I love. I loved the mystery behind the Assassins and the Templars, the world of the Third Crusade. What was the Piece of Eden? Who is Desmond Miles, and what is Abstergo looking for? I was intrigued by the conversations you could have with Warren Vidic and Lucy Stillman in the modern day, reading through the emails and uncovering more of the story and the world outside that which was being told. I mean, the stuff with Subject 16-2 was incredible. We learned that someone else was being held here before us, and that he'd painted the walls and floors of the lab with cryptic messages and symbols with his blood. What any of this meant we didn't really have a clue, just that Abstergo wanted something and they're going to do anything to get it. Assassin's Creed as a franchise has been around for 16 years now as of making this video, and that blows my mind. Assassin's Creed has been a part of my life for a good 13 years at this point, and ever since playing the first game I was hooked. Each game that I've played in this series has me captivated, from revolutionary parkour systems of Assassin's Creed 1, to the vast bustling revolutions that spread throughout Assassin's Creed 3 and Unity, to the hunt for truth and identity within Assassin's Creed Mirage. This franchise has always managed to sink its teeth into my life, and it's safe to say I'm not the only one who feels this way with this franchise. Assassin's Creed has so many games, so many stories, so many different characters to become attached to, so many historical locations to become marvel at. The soundtracks engage us, the visuals snare us, the gameplay hooks us like a drug in our veins, trying desperately to become flashier, cooler, more badass, and more efficient in regards to stealth, parkour, and combat. The modern day blending with science fiction and history, it's such a unique premise, and as a franchise it's managed to remain relevant all these years later. What was once a Prince of Persia spin-off is now one of the gaming industry's leading titans in regards to profitability, longevity, and adaptability. The games evolve over time, for better or for worse, depending on your own personal likes and dislikes, but it's hard to deny that compared to other gaming franchises out there, this one has remained unlike no other. From traditional stealth-focused action-adventure games to RPG-style games, to side-scroller games and VR games, these games adapt and offer unique experiences from each other. This franchise is huge, and for the most part it seems pretty unending, but this franchise wouldn't be as big as it is if it wasn't for the community that props this franchise up. It's nothing without all the fans who support this game series in one way or another. It's nothing without people like you. So I think it's only fair to celebrate not only the franchise itself, but us the fans too. We had Damascus do literal trailers of some of the early Assassin's Creed games with Brotherhood and Revelations respectively, which were incredibly catchy. Often when I see the normal trailers I can't help but sing his version while watching. They've become iconic to me and I still know all the words off by heart. We also had Smosh do a song for Assassin's Creed 3 which has received millions of views. Hiding in Laundry, Tomahawk Death Blows. It's just as iconic as the Damascus literal trailer videos. Every day almost we have multiple video essays from so many different passionate creators of what the best Assassin's Creed is to them and why one game style is better than the others, why one game is the one that broke them. We have people talking about the philosophical side of Assassin's Creed, from who is right, if any, to what the world of Assassin's Creed means with the knowledge that there is no god. We have news channels detailing upcoming patches, potential DLCs, speculation on new entries into this series. We have people detailing all the secrets and Easter eggs across all of the games, along with the details behind the lore and what each piece means in the grand scheme of this franchise. We have authors writing novels and comics such as Oliver Bowden, expanding the world of Assassin's Creed, taking the story of the games and expanding it in different and unique ways, being able to see events from before and after the games that we play, or see things from a different perspective like it was in Assassin's Creed Forsaken. While it does get a little bit silly when we have the Mr. Men being associated with Assassin's Creed, it's still kinda cool to witness just how vast this franchise can be. We have people who do some insane shit with regard to the various stealth and parkour mechanics throughout the various Assassin's Creed games. They dedicate hours and hours of their lives creating some of the most beautiful and satisfying parkour paths you've ever seen, and inspire you to get better at the parkour and try it out for yourself. You see some of these videos where the stealth is next level, and you're just amazed at how fluid and effective and how fast it can all be when you use every tool at your disposal. And these creators are doing it simply because they love the games and want to share that love with others too. People like Altair Stealth, Animus Drifter, and so many more creators, both big and small, are constantly creating videos showcasing their love and passion for the different games and pushing the limits of their abilities, but the game as a whole, even 16 years later. We have people like Kinography and Leo K making complete in-depth guides on how mechanics for certain entries in the franchise works. If you want to know how to get good at certain games such as Unity or the Ezio trilogy, these guys will have guides on them, from stealth, parkour, combat, and the different tools at your disposal. They explain things the game doesn't, and they create these videos because they're passionate fans of the franchise. And then you have channels such as The Exile, The Hidden Ones, Founded Scarab, Walshy, and me, the Beanie Boy, covering practically everything to do with Assassin's Creed because we're so passionate about these things. We love engaging with the community, sharing our takes, explaining things and everything in between because we're fans. There's been podcasts created just talking about everything to do with Assassin's Creed. There's been charity events and organisations where the Assassin's Creed community has raised money to support people in need. It's people like you, the fans of this franchise, that make the biggest impact on the world. Without the fans, there'd be no channels dedicated to Assassin's Creed, no life-changing aid for people suffering from disasters, there'd be no 16-year-long franchise, and I wouldn't be making videos on Assassin's Creed if the fanbase wasn't so wonderful. Assassin's Creed as a franchise can be pretty chaotic at times. We debate who the best assassin is, we create in-depth guides on game mechanics, entire communities have popped up to discuss this franchise. Creators big and small keep this franchise alive, and while we might not always see eye to eye on what style of game is the best, or what we want from an Assassin's Creed game, there's no denying that there's a unique level of passion and love for this franchise, even with its ever-changing identity. I don't know where this franchise will be in the next 16 years. Who knows how many more stories this franchise has left to tell. But while this franchise is still alive and kicking, I'm happy knowing that I'm not alone in having immense love for this series of games. These games are fantastic, but the community surrounding this series is what truly keeps the spirit and soul of Assassin's Creed alive. So wherever and whoever is watching this video, here's to you, and for however long this franchise continues to last, let's not forget that it's all thanks to you for being so passionate.